to this evening's vigil. Thank you all for coming. I welcome you as the Senior Rabbi of Temple Brit Kodesh and also as a member of the Rochester faith community. The extraordinary bonds among our city's religious communities have been strong for many years, but have been especially beautiful to behold over the last 24 hours, as so many faith leaders are here tonight, and so many have reached out with love to support our Jewish community. I also welcome you tonight as a former Pittsburgher and a former member of the Tree of Life community, while my wife served as their Director of Education. All of us tonight stand in the affirming shadow of the Tree of Life and in the devastating shadow of violence and loss. I pray that this assembly will create a sense of hope and a vision of peace. Each time the Jewish community gathers to worship and read the assigned portion from the 5 books of Moses, we recite the prayer taken from the book of Proverbs. Eitz Chaim hi lamachazikim ba, v'tomcheha meushar. It is a tree of life for those who hold fast to it, and all its supporters are happy. Its ways are ways of pleasantness, and all its paths are peace. Today we come together joined by our grief, but also holding fast to the belief that there is a path to peace and there is a path to a life that is filled with goodness. Together we will hold fast to one another and set down that path as we show solidarity with the people of Pittsburgh and closeness across our own city. During tonight's vigil, we will hear words and music offered by a number of Jewish leaders and by members of other religious communities. They are only a representative few of the incredible number of Rochesterians who have reached out to the Jewish community. The Mormon, Sufi, Hindu, Buddhist, Baha'i, Christian, Catholic, Muslim, and other faith communities, as well as from any number of places in the civic and public sphere. It is abundantly clear to me that our city is strong and close, and we are all united as branches on the tree of life. Rabbi Naomi Levy composed the following words as she learned of the tragic violence in the Pittsburgh synagogue. We are devastated, God. Our hearts are breaking in this time of shock and mourning. The loss is overwhelming. Send comfort and strength, God, to grieving family members. Send healing to the injured. Send strength and wisdom to their doctors and nurses. Bless the courageous police officers who risked their lives to protect innocent lives. Shield us from despair, God. Ease our pain. Let our fears give way to hope. Lead us to join together as a nation to put an end to anti-Semitism, an end to hatred, an end to gun violence. Teach us, O God, to honor the souls we have lost by raising our hands and voices together in the cause of peace. Because Torah is a tree of life, and all its paths are peaceful. Work through us, God. Turn our helplessness into action. Teach us to believe that we can rise up from this tragedy and banish the hate that is tearing our world apart. We must never be indifferent to the plight of any who suffer. We must learn to care, to open our hearts and open our hands. Innocent blood is calling out to us. And let us say, Amen. We continue with a musical prayer. I invite forward Cantor Renata Braun from Temple Sinai and Cantora soloist Carrie Lepattenberger from Temple Brit Kodesh. Olam Chesed Yibaneh. I will build this world with love. from Temple Sinai, and Rabbi Michael Silbert from Temple Beth David.
Nanaser Mizmor David, for the conductor, a psalm of David.
Adonai, strengthen me against evil people, protect me from those who are violent.
Who in their hearts plot evil, who stir up strife every day.
They sharpen their tongues like snakes, viper's venom lies beneath their lips, Selah.
Adonai, guard me against evil people, protect me from those who are violent, those who want to take me down.
Arrogant people have laid ropes and traps for me. They have spread out a net along the way, placing snares for me, Selah.
I say to Adonai, you are my God. Adonai, listen to my pleading voice.
Adonai, my master, the strength of my deliverance, protect my head in the day of battle.
Adonai, do not grant the wicked their desire. Do not let them accomplish their plots. Do not let them succeed. Selah.
Bring down upon the heads of those who surround me what their own lips had devised.
May coals of fire fall upon them, casting them into pits, that they never arise again.
May these rabble-rousers never gain a foothold in this land. May these violent people be hunted down and corralled.
I know that God will defend the poor and provide justice for the lowly.
Surely the righteous shall offer thanks to your name. The upright shall dwell in your presence. Ach tzadikim yodu l'shimchecha, yeshvu yesharim et panecha.
Reverend Dr. Marvin McMickle from Colgate Rochester Crozier Divinity School.
The path from the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh extends backward to Mother AME Church in Charleston, South Carolina, and extends backward to 16th Street Baptist Church in Birmingham, Alabama, and extends backward to churches in Montgomery, Selma, and all across the country where racialized hatred and religious bigotry have tried to shatter our spirit. And yet we stand. In the winter of 1956, in Montgomery, Alabama, after his house had been bombed with his wife and daughter inside, and near the breaking point of physical strength and faith, Martin Luther King Jr. talked with God and confessed that he was unable to go further unless God came to his aid. And then he said that it was as if he heard the very voice of God say to him in that time of awful violence, stand up, speak truth, and where you go, I will go with you. And so from Montgomery forward to Birmingham, Birmingham forward to the events in Mother Emanuel in Charleston, and then recently the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh. It is the same promise from God, the same challenge. Stand up, and where you go, I will go with you.
Amen.
The Tree of Life called to my mind a poem that someone said to me in one of the darkest times of my own life. My own faith was being challenged, and my own strength was being severely tested. It's called The Mighty Oak Tree, which I share with you. A mighty wind blew night and day. It stole the oak tree's leaves away, then snapped its boughs and pulled its bark until the oak was tired and stark. Still the oak tree held its ground, while other trees fell all around. The weary wind gave up and spoke, "How can you still be standing, oak?" The oak tree said, "I know that you can break each branch of mine in two, and carry every leaf away, shake my limbs, make me sway. But I have roots stretched in the earth, growing stronger since my birth. You'll never touch them, for you see they are the deepest part of me." And so today I wasn't sure of just how much more I could endure, but now I found, with thanks to you, that I'm stronger than I ever knew. The line from Tree of Life stretches back. By God's help, may it not stretch forward.
Amen.
Now I invite forward Sister Susan Nowak from the Sisters of St. Joseph and Nazareth College.
I have interwoven scripture and prayers for healing and hope authored by individuals who have faced adversity in unimaginable circumstances and who chose not to give up, not to lose hope. You will first hear a line of scripture and then one of the prayers for healing and hope. But before I begin, I want you to know that I have changed all of the pronouns. From I to we, from them to us. The reason that I did this is I offer this prayer believing that we are one people. We are one people who have gathered because our Jewish sisters and brothers have been targeted yet again. As one people, we cannot remain silent or step away in the face of their pain, their sorrow, their grief. We stand in this sacred space as sisters and brothers, bonded by our common humanity, united by our shared commitment to justice, and resolute in our communal determination to mend the broken, fragmented, and wounded state of our nation. If we are bonded, united, determined in these ways, then we stand as one people, ministering to our Jewish sisters and brothers, opening our hearts to their pain, bearing the sorrow that weighs down their spirits, being changed with them by the grief. We make the choice for solidarity, to live the reality that we are one human family, one people, inescapably one. And so I offer this prayer, we and us. Have mercy on us, God, for we are faint. Heal us, God, for our bones are in agony. Psalm 6. The prayer found on the wall of the Warsaw Ghetto. I believe in the sun even when it is not shining. I believe in love even when not feeling it. I believe in God even when God seems to be silent. Isaiah 40. God gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. The author, unknown, but praying for healing. God, make me brave for life. Oh, braver than this. Let me straighten after pain, as a tree straightens after the rain, shining and lovely again. God, make me brave for life, much braver than this. As the blown grass lifts, let me rise from sorrow with quiet eyes, knowing your way is wise. God, make me brave. Life brings such blinding things. Help us to keep our sight. Help us to see aright that out of doubt comes light. Isaiah 41. So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. A prayer for healing and hope from Rabbi Pearl Barley. There are times when each of us is sick with the world, and life weighs upon us like a heavy boulder. We cannot imagine any good or happy thought. We sink further and deeper into the pit of our despair. There are times when each of us feels sorely hurt. The very thing we love the most has been taken away. We feel empty. We feel alone. We are afraid. There are moments we all share when our hearts sink and our minds entertain the worst. Fear assails us all. We tremble and shake at the problems facing us. At these times, a little voice from within rouses us, often waiting until we reach the very brink of despair. At first, nothing more than in a whisper, it tells us that we can indeed prevail. This little voice abiding in each of us is hope. It is not logical or even reasonable. It is our heart telling our head that we cannot surrender. For to give in to the trials of life is to let them win over us. From a whisper, hope grows slowly, first in a moderate tone, and finally to a roar. It supersedes fear, sorrow, and even despair. It gives us the courage to try again. Hope abides in each of us, giving us the energy to survive. It gives us the strength to turn to God and offer praise. If I understand correctly, it is customary when a Jewish congregation reaches the end of a book of the Torah to chant Hazak, Hazak, Vanit, Hazek. Be strong, and may we be strong. I was particularly taken with memory of the saying because of the task it calls us to, the task that we are called to today, that we strengthen one another. So I will repeat the phrase in Hebrew and English, calling us forth, calling us forward. Hazak, Hazak, Venit Haseach. Be strong, and we will strengthen one another.
Amen.
Now I invite forward Samiha Islam from the Islamic Center of Rochester.
Peace, salam, and shalom, everybody. I will be translating a portion of the first chapter of the Holy Quran from sentences 153 to 157. O you who believe, seek assistance through patience and prayer. Surely God stays with the patient. And do not speak of those who are slain in God's way as dead. They are alive, you just don't perceive it. And we will most certainly try you with fear and hunger and loss of property, loss of lives and fruits, and give good news to the patient. Who, when a misfortune befalls them, will say, surely we are God's, and to him we will return. Those are the followers who receive God's blessings and are followers of the righteous path. In these verses of the Quran, God tells us as Muslims that we will be tested in this life with loss and misfortune. And we will face trials that are large enough to afflict the entire community. But enduring and persisting through such misfortunes is the responsibility of a believer. And to acquire the strength needed to persist, God tells us to develop patience as our indisposable key to success, which we will be rewarded for in the long run. In these verses, the dead cannot be referenced as with sorrow, because the people who have laid down their lives for God in his name achieve the highest level of his mercy and live on peacefully in the afterlife. When misfortune befalls the living, it is our duty as Muslims and as a humanity to remember that we all belong to God, and we will soon return to him. And at the end of this verse, God reminds us that the ones who remember him in times of distress are among the most righteous of people. Today, the Muslim community offers our sincere condolences and our heartfelt prayers to the Jewish community. On this day, our community is suffering, and we all share the pain of our Jewish neighbors. We as a country are being tested by God in a time where no one is safe from the reaches of hate and bigotry. Politicians are being sent bomb threats just for speaking what they believe. The racial divides between white supremacists and minority ethnic races are going deeper and deeper by the day. And after millions of kids from around the country have protested for gun control, children are still being killed in schools, and families are still at risk in churches and places of religious setting. In the Quran, God urges us to be patient in the face of despair. But I think some of us are misinterpreting what patient means. It doesn't mean to sit around and wait for change to happen. Patient means to be ruthless and advocating for what you want for as long as it takes to happen. This test of our endurance is in a time when our hearts are full of questions, asking why this is all happening, while our politicians' words are full of lies. In my U.S. history class, we had to analyze the Constitution. Do you know what the first three words of the Constitution are? We the people. It's not we the president. It's not we the KKK. It's not we the NRA. It's we the people. And that includes every Jewish, Muslim, Christian, black, white, gay, trans, straight person in this country. It's us who has the power to make the final say in who has access to guns, who has access to become our leaders, who deserves to make our laws, and who deserves to protect us. It's us, not the people in the White House. And we have the power to make change. We have the power to save lives. And we owe it to ourselves to admit that our government is full of some useless people. So with that being said, we deserve better. Midterm elections are on November 6th. And not to make a generalization, but most people here look old enough to vote. So, your voice may be hoarse, you may be tired, you may be frustrated, but you must raise it up anyway, out of respect for the people who are no longer able to speak. And God stands with the patient. And what we're doing here today is the most beautiful kind. So I hope you take those words into consideration. Peace, salam, and shalom, everyone.
Rabbi Kalimnik. Rabbi Avi Kalimnik, the president of the Rochester Board of Rabbis and Rabbi of Congregation Beth Shalom.
Kol omer kara, ve'omar ma ekra. A voice says, cry out, and I say, what shall I cry? As we heard the horrific news of that which befell our brothers and sisters at the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh, we were pained and in shock. We were at loss. We so desired to shed the tears of our inner soul, to be there with our Jewish people, our Am Yisrael, wishing we could hold their hands, provide a shoulder to lean on, and save them from their grief. This past Shabbat, on our holy Sabbath, as we chanted the portion in our Torah, the portion of the binding of Isaac, the Akedat Yitzchak, it was the 10th and final trial God gave to Abraham to sacrifice his only son, his precious Isaac. At that same time, our global Jewish community faced a similar trial. Yet we were not as fortunate. Abraham heard the angel scream, "Do not harm your son. Do not hurt your son Isaac." Yet we did not have an angel save our 11 Kedoshim, the 11 victims who were killed because they were Jewish. Where was our angel at that time? Once again, we saw the ugly face of anti-Semitism hit our borders once again. We saw one of the most horrific tragedies suffered by the American Jewish community in the history of our nation. On behalf of the Rochester Board of Rabbis, we express our deepest condolences and voices of hope for the families who are in mourning, who have lost their loved ones, who are suffering in unimaginable pain. At a time when we look for solace and comfort, we cry words from Psalms, words composed by King David, words that stem from the heart and have the power to enter into the hearts of others. Esainai el harim me'ayin yavo ezri. I raise my eyes to the mountains. For where does my help come? Ezri me'im Hashem. Oseh shemayim va'aretz. My help comes from Hashem, comes from God, the maker of heaven and earth. Yes, help comes from prayer. Help comes from the ability to be resilient and strong in the face of hatred. But the help, the Ezri, for the community of Squirrel Hill, for the Tree of Life Synagogue, the help which will bring life back into their name, is the inherent godlike nature we have all been recipients of. The Tselem Elohim, the image of God, which makes us sacred. Pittsburgh suffers from a man who stripped any resemblance of God from his being. And we must reassure that the love they receive stems from the inner godly soul we all possess. So yes, my help comes from God when a person writes a letter of endearment. My help comes from God when we give words of comfort, compassion, when we stop and shed a tear for their loss and tell them that we are with you. My help comes from God when law enforcement and first responders put their lives on the line to save others. When leaders of all faiths extend their heart to show they care and are here for us. And my help comes from God when we sing the prayers of healing for a broken community who needs an outpour of love and light from the inner godly side, from our pure soul. We have seen way too much hatred. We have heard way too much violence. We have experienced too much of an absence of the godly soul. It is time to stop and look deep inside for the God within. The Jewish community of Pittsburgh has its eyes to the mountains and is waiting for the help they so deserve. And tonight, I truly feel that help. I feel that help right here in a room filled with over 2,000 people who love and care. I feel that help from the stories I have heard coming from Pittsburgh, from Israel, from across the globe. It is the help they so need. May the days ahead bring an eternal light of that godliness, which eases the pain and brings hope. That we may find the strength to help the Jewish community in Pittsburgh find comfort and guidance during this very difficult time. And that we may be the angel to help them as they climb this very steep and painful mountain. Umacha Hashem bima me'al kol panim. May we experience the day where the tears of pain and sorrow are no more, and may our countenance impart the godly light of shalom, of peace for all mankind. Thank you for your love and support. Am Yisrael Chai.
Amen.
We turn now to a series of 3 traditional prayers. First, a prayer for healing offered by Rabbi Leonardo Bitran from Temple Bethel and Rabbi Drora Settle from Temple Emmanuel.
There have always been a Jewish resistance, a refusal to accommodate the wishes of our haters. Sometimes it was quiet, the silent resolution to go on living when living seemed impossible. Sometimes it was dramatic, the passion of Masada, the Warsaw Ghetto, the Zionist dream. Anti-Semites give an urgency to Jewish survival. They inadvertently reinforce our will to live. We offer now Mishaberach, a blessing and a prayer for those who served that Shabbat morning in the Synagogue Tree of Life, for those in need of healing. Mishaberach Avoteinu ve'imoteinu, Avraham, Yitzhak ve'Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel ve'Leah. הוא יברך את כל הקהל הקדוש הזה עם כל קהילות הקודש, הם ובניהם ובנותיהם וכל אשר להם, ומי שמאחדים בתי כנסיות לתפילה, ומי שבאים בתוכם להתפלל. הקדוש ברוך הוא ישלם שכרם ויסיר מהם כל מחלה וירפא לכל גופם ויסלח לכל עוונם וישלח ברכה והצלחה בכל מעשה ידיהם עם כל ישראל אחיהם ועם כל יושבי תבל ונאמר
Amen.
I'd like to invite my cantorial colleagues to please come up to the bima and to invite all of you to join us in singing the Mishaberach.
The first of two memorial prayers. I invite forward Rabbi Shaya Kalimnik from Congregation Beth Shalom and Rabbi Rochelle Tulip from Temple Brit Kodesh.
Please rise.
שוכן במרומים, המצא מנוחה לך ונהר, תחס הרפי השכינה, במהלו קדושים וטהורים, כי זוהר רקיע, מזהירים איזה נשמות אנשי כנסת בית עץ חיים שנגו על ידי הרוצח ושהולך לעולמם בגן עדן תהא מנוחתם עליו ועל רחמים עשיי ושי כנפיך לעולמים וצרור בצרור החיים אס נשמותיהם אדוני הוא נחלתם וינוחו בשלום המשכבותיהם ונאמר אמן.
El Male Rachamim, loving and merciful God, full of compassion, who dwells in the heights and in the depths. Shelter the souls of our brothers and sisters beneath the wings of your holy presence. Protect them among all the holy and pure whose shining lights fill eternity. Let them find refuge forever in the shadow of your wings, and let their souls be bound up in the bonds of eternal life, for you are the everlasting God. May they rest in peace, and let us say,
Amen.
I ask you to remain standing, and I call forward Rabbi Debbie Till from Temple Sinai.
I share these preceding words for Kaddish offered by Rabbi Paul Kipnis. Yitgadal v'yitkadash Shmei Rabbah.
Amen.
Exalted and holy be your great name. Yet little feels holy today. Another mass shooting. An incomprehensible horror. Too many dead and too many wounded, and we are left to mourn the dead, to heal the wounded, to wonder why. In the world which you, God, created according to plan. But is this part of your plan? That death and destruction emerges from the free will you entrusted to us? That automatic gunfire rains down unceasingly? That people kill people using weapons we designed and created with the minds you accorded us? May your majestic love be revealed in the days of our lifetime. In your Torah we are taught. When Moses and the Israelites stood praying at the shores of the Red Sea while the Egyptians were bearing down on them, you called out to us, "Why are you crying out to me? Tell the Israelites to move on." So help us move on. Not by forgetting this horror, not by explaining it away, not by blaming the easy targets, but by having the courage to mourn the dead, heal the victims, bless the first responders, lead with love, change the laws, and save lives. May there soon be abundant peace from heaven and life for us. Peace that comes because we did not become inured to the continual violence in our concert venues, our schools, our malls and neighborhoods, and now our synagogues. And we did not allow the calls for prayers to turn us away from the actions we must take to end mass shootings, but because we did find the courage to stand up, speak up, act out. Oseh shalom bimromav huya aseh shalom aleinu. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us. Ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, to all Israel and all the world. So one day, your world, free from this violence, will finally reflect your exaltedness and holiness. V'imru, and we say, Amen. Lost yesterday at the Tree of Life congregation, and for us to remember at this sacred gathering. Our Joyce Weinberg, Richard Godfrey, Rose Mallinger, Jerry Rabinowitz, Cecil Rosenthal, David Rosenthal, Bernice Simon, Sylvan Simon, Daniel Stein, Melvin Wax, Irving Younger. And we say, Zichronam Livracha, may their memories be for a blessing as we join together in the words of Mourner's Kaddish. Yitkadal May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all Israel, to all who are mourning, as we join together in saying, Amen.
Amen.
You may be seated, and I invite forward at this time Meredith Dragon, the CEO of the Jewish Federation of Greater Rochester, for a few acknowledgements.
Thank you all for coming tonight. The outpouring of support from across the community and across the world has been tremendous. Tonight is one vigil in one place, and vigils like this one are happening around the country, reminding us that we are indeed stronger when we stand together. Last night, barely 24 hours ago, I was enjoying my last few moments in Tel Aviv, Israel, watching a glorious sunset and blissfully reflecting another incredible visit to our Jewish homeland. We had spent time with our partners in the city of Modi'in with our newest cohort of the Ramim program. I want to share a note from our dear friends in Modi'in who share in our pain. They wrote, "To our dear friends in Rochester, we are standing today next to you with broken hearts, sad and bowed in mourning and solidarity with the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh.
Our thoughts are with the families of the victims, and we wish a refuah shlema to all the wounded. Our hearts are with the entire Jewish community in Pittsburgh as they cope with this unthinkable horror. As Israelis, unfortunately, we have experience with these kinds of terror attacks, and we never get used to it. However, our message to you is a message that we all read at the Passover Seder. B'chol dor v'dor amdim aleinu v'chalotenu. In every generation they stand up against us to destroy us. Especially on days like this, we should be united and not let the wicked succeed in breaking us. Our partnership between Rochester and Modine is part of our answer to the evil. More Jewish activity, more connections between us, more life over death. These are the things that keep us alive. Together we are strong. Love your friends and family in Modi'in. The last 2 days in Israel, I spent at an international board meeting of the Jewish Agency for Israel with Rick Goldstein. A significant focus of our time was discussing the startling increase in anti-Semitism in Europe and in the United States. Little did we know then what we were about to face. My last moments in Israel were ironically shattered by the news from the States. And now, here we are together in solidarity, shaken by the craziness in our world and wanting to take action. Today, across the Federation system, the following message was shared. We make the sacred and solemn vow that we will stand united and in partnership with our elected officials and good people everywhere to work together towards the day when no community is vulnerable to such attacks. Anti-Semitism and xenophobia are contagions that infect societies and end in tragedy, not only for Jews, but for all humanity. We call upon our neighbors and friends to act with us as we bring the full force of our collective system to bear on this tragedy. We will not rest until the last remnant of such hatred is eradicated from our midst. We send our profound sympathy to the families and friends of those murdered. We pray for the speedy and full healing of the wounded and comfort for their loved ones. We vow our solidarity and support to our Pittsburgh family. We often say, may someone's memory be a blessing, as we've said tonight. What does that mean today? Today, this is a clarion call for all of us to take action and let the memory of those who were murdered inspire us to reject hatred and lies whenever and wherever we hear them. I want to thank all of our faith leaders here today who stand in solidarity with us. Your presence is so important and appreciated. We are fortunate to have such strong ties in our interfaith community, and we cherish them, and this is unique, and we truly appreciate you. We also thank our public officials who are here, and we want to thank our law enforcement, who has simply been outstanding and responsive in providing support and vigilance to all of our institutions. Thank you to our community leaders who always work tirelessly to ensure a strong community. And a special thank you to our rabbinic colleagues who put together this program so swiftly and have worked in partnership with all of our local institutions to bring us here tonight for this important moment. Last but not least, I want to thank all of you for being here. This is an extraordinary gathering of people. Tonight, you are all saying that hatred will not stop us from being a vibrant community, and we will act to make this world a better place, just as our traditions teach us. I urge you to leave tonight not feeling despair, but feeling empowered to fight the evil forces of hatred in our world. For this is the only way for all humanity to live in peace. Thank you.